What's the point of becoming a contractor? What's the difference? Like
$60,000 a year.
You get paid more or less?
You get paid a ton more. You get paid a ton more. Do you remember when Donald Trump, when he took office in 2016, for like 2 years after that, he tried to start taking security clearances from anybody who wasn't in government? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
He was 100% right. Because what happens is you don't make very much money in the federal government. And when I say you don't make very much money, what I mean is like a senior intelligence specialist or an SIS officer might be making maybe $210,000 a year after a 30-year career. Well, shit, dude. Like, you know how many 28-year-old salespeople are making $250,000 a year right now? So after a full year of servicing the government, for $210,000 being your greatest salary ever, you have these super high secrecy, or you have the super high clearance. You have a huge network of peers at CIA, at FBI.
Andy Bustamante, he's saying it right there. The money difference is all there. Now, I will say the strange thing is, and I never anticipated the amount of authority you have as a contractor. Now, don't get me wrong, it's a very gray area. As an independent contractor, you need to carry your own insurance. You buy your own gear. Everything is on you, your own medical insurance. They don't pay your taxes. They don't do any of that stuff for you. You are basically on your own operating as an independent contractor, just like Sean Ryan had said in the other video. Just like, you know, to build a house, you hire a contractor, he finds the specialist, all that stuff. So now I started at the very bottom when it came to contracting, just like everybody else. They didn't care about my prior experience as a SWAT operator or as a fast operator or a Marine in general. They didn't care. Now, the military was often a prerequisite. It was a requirement for a lot of contracts. Now, law enforcement, that obviously opens doors for other kinds of contracts. I started doing private investigations as well. But they were all just low-level stuff when I started. Private security contracts where I would be just, you know, at hotels or very low-level, you know, grocery stores, things like that. And essentially being a mall cop to start off. And, you know, that's where a lot of guys don't want to go back to if they have a long career in the military or law enforcement or whatever the case may be. But to me, I knew that I had to prove myself. I had to make a name for myself, and my reputation had to be out there for me to get the big time contracts. And as long as I was making money, I didn't care. I was being patient. And there's plenty of that type of work to go around. And other companies would put me on these low-level details as like a test before they put me on one of the more higher risk or flashy details. So I did spend a lot of time just working regular old private security as a contractor. But still, I was making more than I made in law enforcement doing that. So, and, you know, again, like I mentioned before, it was very surprising to me. I got into more stuff as a security contractor than I did in law enforcement or the military. It's a whole nother world. So now the private investigation stuff, I think, would surprise people because it very much surprised me when I broke into the private security stuff. Was I had access to databases and things that I did not have access to as a detective, a full-blown sworn detective for a police agency. I have more access to things as a private investigator for background checks, or just skip tracing, looking people up, finding missing persons, all kinds of stuff. The biggest issue you run into with that stuff is agency cooperation. A lot of law enforcement agencies don't want to cooperate with you because they think you're just a nobody private investigator. You don't know what you're doing. Starting out, again, I started out private investigations, working surveillance cases, working very low level stuff before certain people started reaching out and started asking for more of the private intelligence type contracting stuff, where I was being asked to, I don't want to give out too much, but train informants to work for 3-letter agencies, things like that. So you got to start at the bottom, unfortunately, with this kind of stuff. Now, private security, same thing. within the United States, one of the best things you can do in private security, or highest paying things you can do in private security, is executive protection. Now, executive protection often gets lumped in with bodyguards, and that's not the case. So there is a very clear difference. Bodyguards are usually buddies of the client or bigger people who just need to be a body to protect this person walking to and from, whereas executive protection is a whole other layer and whole lot more training and experience required.